Let's clap it up. This is the Israelite School of Universal Radical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street on we are under the command and honor and teaching the truth since 1969 that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American youth are in fact true biblical Jews of the Bible, and that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? You turn that down just a bit.
That's low.
We'll go all the way to the right.
It's low right here.
But look, hey, this is the One West News Desk. I don't know if the mic is picking it up. Check your phone if the mic picking it up. But this is the One West News Desk. We're gonna bring you, of course, every week your local, your national, and your international news to your timeline. You understand?
Right.
Bring it, I'll letting you know and showing you things that's relevant to you and how it pertains to your liberation. And you're not gonna see this on your the things they feed us on our timeline be a bunch of trash. But you know, depending on the social media sites sometimes, but they push a lot of propaganda, and a lot of distractions.
It's good. It's good.
And a lot of distractions or what have you. But it's a lot of things in the news. Of course, the Strait of Hormuz, Iran, Israel. A lot of local news. There was the AFRAM over the weekend. There was a lot of things in the news as far as concerning the youth taking over Fells Point, taking over the AFRAM. There was a lot of that. Of course, Trump rhetoric back and forth with Iran, JD Vance, BB, uncertainty with Israel, relations with America. There's a whole lot on the forefront today, but we're going to break it out here on the One West News Desk for you today. I'm your host, Cap Sapari, along with
Officer Mathum.
And we're going to bring you some news. You want to start local today?
Yeah, we got to start with the local today. If I may, Cap, we talked about this sister the other day, the sister that was head of that LGBTQ plus AI or IA community service center that they got in. I don't know if it's not exactly in City Hall, but it's downtown. They got a department down there, a whole department for them. You understand what I'm saying? And first off, one thing that I didn't know the LGBTQ and then the transgender community was two separate communities. You understand? And after this week, after they had their little holiday over the weekend, you know what I mean? I guess the transgender community was highly upset of where they were placed in the park. You understand what I'm saying? And now they're calling for the head of the sister who put everything together for them. You understand? And it is crazy because let's just read this article because you got to hear it to really understand it. You know?
And if I could, last week we covered a little bit of it.
Yeah,
I was totally unaware of them. They even had an entire office dedicated to the LGBTQ community. And this sister here, or whatever she may be, I might be wrong. I don't know.
Right.
Is leading this particular office.
Right.
The mayor's office of LGBTQ affairs here under scrutiny, and we're going to get this article here. It's the CBS News.
Yep.
Let me share this to the stream here.
And it goes to show you, right? No matter what type of good you try to be satisfied. You understand? To me, how can you have these are the same people, and I don't know how they separate them. It's complicated to me, and it's complicated to the point where you actually got to read it to really believe and understand what's going on. I'm gonna read it. It says Baltimore transgender-led organization calls for city officials' resignation. We're talking about calling for the resignation of the sister who heads up that department for them. You understand? Who coordinates all their social events and things like that. You understand? Making sure everything, all of the spots are reserved for them. The sister coordinates all of the events for. She coordinates all the events for the transgender community, for the LGBT, right? And actually thought that transgender was incorporated in that. But reading this article, I just want everybody to listen to this article.
Computer audio. Testing, testing. Go ahead, I'm gonna turn the thing off.
Okay,
this came back on. It came back. Testing. Oh yeah, it's better. But this the thing. Like, what was I saying? It's messy.
Oh yeah.
They got to get it together if they're going to be gay and all the gays in the so-called queer community. They messy so much so they want to. Somebody in that mayor's office is like, they don't want to the T's to participate with the so-called ordinary gays.
Right.
All right.
But okay. All right. But
and it's all Sodom. It's all Sodom. It's all Gomorrah.
Right.
You understand? It's all wickedness. But even within their wickedness, there's prejudice within their community.
Right. And all of that stuff they talk about, we show love and all of that. We seeing a difference right here. We seeing a separation right here. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It says Maryland Safe Haven and members of the trans community say the distance between the events made for a clear divide, also creating a divide in the people attending them. Now, Maryland Safe Haven is calling for the head of the mayor's office of the LGBTQ affairs, Dr. Melanie Bryant. That was the sister that we talked about last week. That was putting all of this stuff together for them.
Just a second. Right there, boom. Okay.
It says to step down. The organizer of Baltimore Pride, the Pride Center of Maryland, issued an apology and said it has since parted ways with its entertainment company. So they have an entertainment company too?
This is your tax dollars, Baltimore.
Listen, it says one park, two prides. Maryland Safe Haven has not only sent a letter to Mayor Brandon Scott calling for Bryant's resignation, but it has also started an online petition. As of 5 p.m. Thursday, the petition has nearly 200 signatures.
200 signatures, man. Somebody in that in that gay community got a problem with the trans in the mayor's office.
Right.
You know, this is
it's like you said, it's messy.
It's messy. It shouldn't even be in office. Right. I mean, what are we even talking about here? The mayor put things in place to make sure the LGBTQ community has access to civil rights when they already have access to civil rights.
Right.
They're not excluded or what have you. We wasting hundreds, if not, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on a particular community, throwing all these parties. They got their own goddamn media department and entertainment department. For what?
But this is the crazy thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be the same people, but they're having two separate events. Now, this is to me. If you have a group, if you have two groups, why would you have them on the same? Why would you same ticket in the same? It didn't make sense. So none of that makes sense to me. I'm not saying that I agree with it because I don't agree with any of it at all. But when you have two people from the same sect, how do you book this? Give them the same day? They got a whole month.
Right.
Remember, Juneteenth has one day, but Pride has a whole month. So you could have booked one for one weekend and the other for the other weekend. It didn't make sense to book them both on the same weekend. It's silly sounding to me. Like we said, we don't support any of those groups, but the situation and the things that they put the city through and the money that it's taken. Because I can guarantee you this money not being donated by them, but because of the Shalom, Lord Christ, sir. But because of who they are, they get funded from out of taxpayers' dollars. We can't even get school. We can't even get AC in schools or heating in schools in the wintertime. But they get these parties thrown, and then they get a whole month. So you not only got to go through this weekend, but you got to go through the following weekend and the weekend after that. You understand what I'm saying? So this month is almost over anyway. So
It's going to an end.
it's coming to an end anyway, which, thank God, you know what I mean? But it says Maryland Safe Haven has not only sent a letter to Mayor Brandon Scott calling for Bryant's resignation, but it also started an online petition. As of 5 p.m. Thursday, the petition has nearly 200 signatures. This past weekend hurt. Baltimore Pride and Baltimore Trans Pride were not held in equitable spaces. Part of the letters read, the lack of visibility and accessibility was not a minor oversight. Renee Liu is Maryland Safe Haven Special Project Coordinator. She said seeing the division hurt and stressed Bryant needs to step down. We feel now we have to go back to standing in front of City Hall and shouting at the top of our lungs to get ourselves heard again. We don't want to have to do that, Lou said. Think about this, right? We've been screaming for helping our cities, for helping our recreation centers. You understand what I'm saying? For helping just for better communities. They come out 2 years ago screaming down at City Hall, and they automatically get what they want. Now because
they get a whole park takeover, and they can never have enough of them. And the trans community, they want to be put on the forefront now.
Yeah.
They want notoriety, Madame. They want to be seen. They act like the trans community is being shunned here.
Right.
What is Mayor Brandon Scott got to say now? What is he going to say? Is he going to make a public statement? They had him shucking and jiving on Juneteenth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Had him up there on the stage rapping or what have you. I seen that on the news or what have you.
Right.
But this is something that Mayor Brandon Scott created here.
Yeah.
He created this scenario. Now you got these mentally ill men and women wanting to be seen in the city and put on a particular platform and within their own community.
Salaki, if I may, sir. You know what it probably was? I believe they didn't get filmed enough. The Pride side got filmed more than they did. And just like you just said, they want to be on the forefront. And because they didn't get enough notoriety, because they got some notoriety, but they didn't get enough.
Like it said the lack of visibility. They want to be seen.
Exactly.
And accessibility.
Right.
This was the direct words for them.
So now think about this, right? You have access. You have 3 different access points into Druid Hill Park, right? When you have and let's look at it from this perspective. When you have a Pride Day and a Trans Day, that's a lot of people coming from multiple areas around Baltimore City, not to mention the Juneteenth thing. Did they have it on the same day was at Juneteenth?
I think it was 2 different weekends.
Okay. That's good.
AFRAM was this week. This past week, and I think the weekend before was an event for the LGB.
Oh, the week before. Oh, yeah, because they said by Thursday. So it had to be the weekend before. So that means they had a whole weekend.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They had the whole park to themselves.
Huh.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So just like you said, it's when you don't get enough notoriety and when you're not seen enough. Think about it, right? They probably saw the commercials or they probably saw the news clips and didn't see enough of them. They saw all of the LGBTQ, which to me, they should have had the shebang together because they all the same people.
But this is the thing with them. They saying it was together, but the trans was pushed to the back. It was at the same event.
Right.
But at that event, the trans was pushed in a corner per se. Damn near.
They weren't seen enough.
They wasn't on the stage enough. You know
what they call it. That what's the name? What's the?
They didn't feel included.
Yeah, it's that. What's what's that show that be on TV? Their show that's on TV.
They got a show.
That RuPaul show. You know when they dressing up.
They got a
they dressing up in drag
show.
The drag show. But it's called something drag. Anyway, but that's how when they come into their self, you ever see how before they go into drag, how they act, their personality. Then soon as they go, I'm not saying it like that. What I'm saying is their whole personality changes when they put that drag on. They become somebody totally different that's vibrant and outgoing, and they gotta be seen. When they're not in that, they don't have to be seen. So now that you have this transgender day, everybody coming out in a Superman outfit. You understand what I'm saying? So they gotta be seen.
Super gay outfit.
And they gotta be seen. So because they didn't get the attention and the notoriety that they wanted, it's a problem.
Somebody gotta leave their job.
We got pushed to the back. We didn't get seen. We didn't get enough, hits on the news. So you understand, right. Or the YouTube spots. Mm-hmm. You understand? We should have been trending or something like that.
You know what these trans people want to do? They're going to totally sever themselves in Boston. They're going to totally sever themselves to have an exclusive event for trans people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, Baltimore man, Brian Scott, you got some explaining to do.
You got some explaining.
You gotta get Brian. He made that video talking about happy pride and all this. I was searching for a video dedicated to Juneteenth.
You ain't gonna see
I want to see an afro on a cop car.
Right.
I want to see an afro pick. I want to see a fist. You know what I'm saying? On a cop car, Black Power, something like that. I ain't see none of that.
They put the rainbow colors on the cop cars and all that.
Mm-hmm. They probably got them on the damn. They probably got them on the goddamn MTA buses and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's up? What's up? Good. But yeah. You want to read the rest or you want to move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna read the rest. Dominic Morgan was the Trans Pride Grand Marshal this year. There you go.
Grand Marshal.
So that means you ever see somebody when we was young, my aunt won the Grand Marshal of the Baltimore Circus. So they came up and got her and put her in a cart, and everybody was following them around the whole arena in the what's the name, because she had won. You know what I mean? Well, this is the same thing. When you get somebody who's the Grand Marshal and then they don't get seen like they want to get seen, you understand? They don't get that notoriety. They get upset. This is how transgenders are. It's all about them being seen. You know what I mean? Like I said, that show that comes on, these people, so a lot of them you think they just a little different when they don't have their makeup and stuff on. But once they put that stuff on, they transform their whole energy, their whole personality. Everything changes. They vibrant, outgoing, everything. They want to be seen. And this is an example right here. If you don't give me what I want, heads are going to roll. This is an example right here. You understand? And this is what happens. And it's going to get worse. You understand? Because of the iniquity that comes with this, and we know about that, right? This is not the end right here. This is going to get worse because now it's a competition. You got a group of people that are all the same, and now you're starting to have splinter groups. So when does the next group splinter off? And next thing you know they violent anyway, right? These people are violent anyway. So it's only a matter of time before you start, seeing every other thing start to happen. It says Dominique Morgan was the Trans Pride Grand Marshal this year. She's been coming to the Baltimore celebration since it began in 2022, like it was a long time ago, right? I walked down the hill and I was like, okay, this isn't crazy far, but why is everything so separated? This feels awkward, Morgan said. Morgan wanted to make
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was in the same spot.
Yeah.
But it
hit them off to the side.
Come.
You know what I mean? I mean, think about it though, right? I mean, you got how many letters do you got, right? You got this many letters, and then you taking one letter, and then this one letter expect to be the same size crowd and have the same area as the whole multitude. You know what I mean? It doesn't. I mean, I'm not trying to what's the name, but
I want to see how this story develops because I want to see what Mayor Brandon Scott got to say.
Right.
Because now he wanna put this all this gay pride stuff on a pedestal. Got the rainbows on the cop car. Yeah. Now he got to stand up for trains. They got rainbows on Baltimore City cop cars.
If I'm not mistaken, they got some on the light rail too. They got little posters on the light rail. Some of them on the back of the buses. But it's all supposed to be for them all together anyway. I didn't even know that it was a separation. You know what I mean? It says when Morgan wanted to make an announcement about trans pride performances on the main stage at Baltimore Pride, she got permission to do so. However, when Morgan did, someone took the mic from her and security was asked to move her. It was disgusting in the fact that this is supposed to be a day where we all get to celebrate. See what I'm saying? You're supposed to be celebrating together. This gonna be real ugly.
I want to see. I'm looking forward to see Mayor Brandon Scott's because he was real bold. Happy Pride, Baltimore.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Gabar. I'm gonna see if I can pull this video up real quick. But as I get this, now he got all this. He posting everything about the Afrin right now, but I'm gonna get his video.
I don't think he's gonna post about Pride.
He already did.
Oh, did he?
He played it last week. I'm trying to find it.
You talking about the commercial?
But
I'm talking about the personal.
No, he didn't.
He ain't gonna do that.
He didn't make that. Hold up. I'm gonna share this.
All of us at the Baltimore Police Department,
Hold up. Listen to this. Everybody, look at
Happy Pride, Baltimore.
You hear that? You hear that in the beginning? That's Mayor Brandon Scott. Now you got right there. It says Baltimore Police. You got the Maryland flag on there with the rainbow.
Police shield.
Police shield. I'm gonna play
Happy Pride, Baltimore.
They got a gay police
all
car.
of us at the Baltimore Police Department, Happy Pride, Baltimore.
Happy Pride, Baltimore.
Happy Pride, Baltimore from your street sweeping crew.
Happy Pride, Baltimore from DOT.
Happy Pride, Baltimore from the Mayor's Office of LGBTQ
right
Plus
there.
Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Pride, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, listen to this, Eric.
Big bad Baltimore. Come on.
Listen to this right here. It says, and it was disgusting in the fact that I know the privilege that I sit in, Morgan said. I know there's some young transgender girl watching that right now saying, well, if that happens to Dominique Morgan, how are they going to treat me? Lou added that Baltimore police shut down their event at 9 p.m. Saturday, despite having a permit that allowed them to go until midnight. Morgan said she still come back next year, looking forward to a redo from this year. Lou, meanwhile, said Trans Pride will be better than ever. They're gonna come back with a vengeance. Yeah.
Good.
We're gonna go back to our roots, and we're gonna try to make it a community neighborhood festival again, instead of this blown out thing that never got to be, she said.
Now they got a response. It says response from Baltimore Pride organizers and the city.
I want to hear that. Go ahead.
Let's get to if I could read. This is on the same article.
You want to send it to me, or you want?
This is the same article. We'll scroll down some, but I'll read. It says response from Baltimore Pride organizers and the city. The Pride Center of Maryland, the main organizer for Baltimore Pride, issued an apology on Sunday on stage. It also released another one on social media Wednesday, confirming it has parted ways with an entertainment company it partners with to put on Baltimore Pride. After review and consideration, they putting the blame on the entertainment company.
Right.
After review and consideration, we have determined that it is in the best interest of PCOM and the communities we serve to move forward in a different direction. The statement partly reads: effective immediately, YAG Elite Management LLC and Tanisha Jackson no longer act on behalf of or have any affiliation with the Pride Center of Maryland and any official, contractual, or volunteer capacity. Damn.
You want me to read the rest of that?
Sure, I'm at WJZ.
Yeah. WJZ spoke with a senior city official on the phone Thursday who confirmed Mayor Scott saw Maryland's safe haven letter. The official said the mayor will respond to it with Maryland safe haven soon. The city official also stressed that the city merely provides permits and other city services to both the Pride Center of Maryland and Maryland Safe Haven to put on these events, and the city doesn't organize the events. Maryland Safe Haven was presented with multiple locations to choose from, according to the city official, before moving forward with the spot Trans Pride was in.
It's a lot of finger pointing, McClung.
Yeah, but it sounded like they had an opportunity to go to a different spot, but they chose that spot.
Right.
So it's ugly, and it's gonna be ugly between them. It sounds like it's really a beef between them, and they trying to point the finger with the city. But when you entertain things like that, this is the stuff that comes out of it. You understand? You're entertaining something that's evil. Only evil can come out of an evil thing. What the scripture say, that a good tree produces good fruit, right? But an evil tree produces bad fruit. So what did you expect to come out of this? I yield, sir.
So yeah, you have it. We waiting on you, Mayor Brandon Scott. What's up with it? Mayor Brandon Scott said he's gonna come out with a statement. We'll see if that statement ever comes. See how you're gonna handle this here. He didn't made this mess. Let's see how his how he responds with that.
Right.
All right, we're gonna move on here. Let me get I gotta share this to you now, right?
Come on, sir.
I'm gonna send you this article real quick. Don't you bear with me 1 second. But we got JD Vance. JD Vance talking a good game in the media this week. Gabarika, Vice President Vance, over there in Switzerland. And then you see what happened mid speech.
I didn't see that.
I think the Iranians did.
Oh yeah. They rolled out. They in the mid speech. Yeah, they rolled out on. They say they. Salaki, if I may, before we get into the article,
please,
right?
Go ahead.
A lot of people. This is the reason why we bring the news to the people, right? A lot of people don't understand the severity of that Iranians walking out on that thing, right? First off, the first 2 times or the first 3 times that they had talks with them, there were assassinations that happened. And then every time they talk with the U.S. always reneges or some kind of Israelis bomb somebody to break up the ceasefire. This last 60-day ceasefire was so that America could retool and reboot and rearm themselves. That's all it was for. You understand? The talks were never supposed to go anywhere, and now the Iranians got tired of it and walked out in mid-speech of JD Vance. Not only that, it's another scenario to the situation. I don't know if you remember, but when JD Vance got brought in by Trump, his whole thing was when Trump's term was over, he was supposed to be running for president next. Well, the way this is going, the Republicans are tubing themselves, and JD Vance now is trying to put caulk in the sinking ship. So he trying to patch up places that they messed up in when they should have never sent Jared Kushner and Witkoff out as what they call it, negotiators. Send them out as negotiators because they're not professional negotiators. And the whole thing of sending them out as negotiators was because
any more calls?
The whole thing of sending them out as negotiators was a deterrent so that they could unalive some more people. So now here we are today. JD Vance is trying to save the sinking ship.
And also, not only this, right? If you tuned into the news or whatever, you'll see it's up and down.
Yeah.
One day they'll say we're real close to a deal. The next day, then you'll see a bombing on an attack on an apartment building or what have you. Up and down. And it's so much up and down that they're saying Trump is trying to manipulate the markets through the media.
Right.
Stocks and everything like that. It's a lot of stuff going on. So let's get a little bit more on this. Vance goes to Switzerland. Did you get that? Hey, shout out to everybody online that tuned in. I see Bakar, Motherboard Rib checked in, Adolf on there. Everybody on the chat, man. Shalom.
That's the Al Jazeera. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready to rock.
Okay. It says, what are the key outcomes of the Iran-U.S. talks? What's next? Expert warn unresolved questions over Lebanon could complicate efforts to secure a lasting agreement. Mediators Qatar, Pakistan have said the United States and Iran agreed on a roadmap towards reaching a final deal within 60 days, following what they describe as an encouraging progress during the first day of high-level talks in Switzerland.
Can I say something real quick before you move on? Understand and recognize this, right? The Israeli government, each prime minister for the last several decades, right, been trying to attack Iran. Each president, from Obama to both of the
Bushes,
saxophone.
Bill Clinton.
I call him saxophone.
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. That's a black people thing, yo. But Bill Clinton, all these cats, everybody was like, nah. They made all types of threats. We're gonna nuke. We're gonna do this. Everybody understood that it was a no-go.
Right.
And 10 plus, I think even 15 plus intelligence agencies throughout the world cleared Iran from having nuclear bombs. I'm talking about over. This is not just U.S. intelligence. I'm talking about throughout the world, all collectively came together and said they're not a threat.
Right.
But the Israelis are fixed on taking over the Middle East. They fixed on it. You understand? They have a lust for blood that is, unheard of or what have you. And people think in their mind, all the Israelis, they're such a holy people. They are murderous scumbags.
Right.
They are murderous dogs, yo. Look at it for what it is. Don't try to put a blanket over. Well, they trying to be Jewish and the Holocaust, and they're so weak, and they're extorting everybody 9 times 10. You understand?
They use that to their advantage.
Uh,
And then they ask the same question they ask, what is the benefit of the United States relationship to Israel? There is no benefit. Israel has a benefit of being connected to the United States. If it's not for the weapons, it's for the welfare that they get. Not only the military welfare, but the civilian welfare. You understand? Not to mention the welfare that the Jews right here in America get every year.
Yeah, I know. They just uncovered that nonprofit Cars for Kids. Listen, if you ain't seen it, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids. That money was being shuffled to Jewish communities. Listen, when we get
listen.
Yeah.
This is the diabolical. Listen, we are living in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. We are living in Egypt right now. We're living in Babylon right now. America encapsulates all the evil empires rolled up into one. Rome, whatever you want to call it, the Assyrians, whatever. America is the beast that's spoken of in the Bible. This is the spirit. This America has the spirit of the beast. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I got to thank Commanding General Yohana. If it wasn't for this truth, I'd still be sucked up by America today. You understand? Because if you really don't hear the truth and get real, true understanding, you'll be blinded. And this is the reason why, you know what, for a long time, I never could understand how people could say what they said to us while we was on the street and speaking. You understand? But if your eyes are not open, boy, you're gonna be wandering, groping in the daytime. What the scripture say? Groping in the noonday. You understand? You walking around with blinders on. Not even, but you got a kaleidoscope in front of your face of a picture that's not real, that you believe is real. You understand? And until you take that blinder down, you're going to just be groping in the noonday. You know what I mean? You're going to be grabbing at ghosts and spirits.
Scripture all talking about you trying to find something to lean on.
Right.
You can clearly see your eyes are open. You're not.
Right.
Your vision isn't obstructed, but you're grabbing on for stability and understanding and looking for, something to lean on, but you can't find it. Why? Because you're blinded by the propaganda of the devil. You're blinded by Christianity. You're blinded by the philosophies and doctrines of the wicked.
You leaning on the very things that have no stability.
There you go.
You understand? No stability at all. Stability is right here in this truth, right here in this UPK.
But let's get a little bit more of this article. J.D. Vance, up there in Switzerland. Let's see what else he had to say here.
The discussions followed the signing of a 14-point memorandum of understanding. That's the MOU. On June 17th, that established a framework for de-escalation between Washington and Tehran and laid the groundwork for further negotiations.
And here's the thing, right? Benjamin Netanyahu, he is a murderous scumbag.
Yeah.
He doesn't want peace. He wants blood. He wants war, and he wants destruction for all the people that is in the Middle East, except for the so-called Jewish man.
Right.
And that's just the fact. That's just the fact. They want to say, well, Hezbollah's over here. Hezbollah's attacking. Hezbollah, but you're killing everybody when you're targeting a so-called terrorist.
Right.
You're leveling the whole apartment building and then wonder why nobody really likes you.
Right.
So much so, Donald Trump is in the news publicly fighting you. Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu, blase, he gotta understand this. That, like, I mean, how messy? You the president,
Right.
and the prime minister of Israel having a fight on Twitter, having a fight in the media.
Right.
God damn, y'all's a bunch of goddamn teenagers, man. Come on. My bad. Go
It
ahead.
says the breakthrough came after a marathon 18-hour meeting at Lake Lucerne, attended by senior officials from both countries. 18 hours.
Yeah.
The joint statement also announced the creation of a deconfliction cell aimed at ending Israel's military operations in Lebanon, alongside a high-level committee and direct communication channels designed to support further negotiations.
Good bar. Can I get another one of those? Further negotiations, man.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance led Washington delegation alongside President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Iran's delegation was led by Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bogar Ghalibaf and included Foreign Minister Abbas Aragachi. Listen, I think this was a couple of the dudes that walked out on them right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the thing about it is, I believe, still I can't say if I believe, but they were already tired of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, because they said every time they come over and every time they speak to them, something negative always happens, and the negotiations never go through.
You sit right there. The waters.
It said yesterday was a very good day. We made a lot of good progress. We did exactly what we wanted to do, Vance told reporters on Monday. That's the reason why they sent J.D. Vance out there, because they have really no respect for Jared Kushner or Steve Witkoff. They had said that a couple of weeks ago. You know, it says high-level committee communication channel. A high-level committee has been established to provide political oversight on the mediation, according to a joint statement issued by Qatar and Pakistan, which acted as mediators in the negotiations. The statement said the committee had agreed upon a roadmap toward reaching a final deal within 60 days, with further technical talks expected to continue over the next 2 months. This is the thing, right? Them 60 days, that's what they're trying to rebuild. They're trying to rebuild and rearm. That's why they use it 60 days, because they had actually gave the numbers of what they could rebuild in 60 days, all of the armaments that they could muster up in 60 days. So if you give them 60 days, then another 60 days, 2 months after that, that's 120 days. That's enough for them to retool and rearm and then go back to war with Iran. We know this war is going to go on again.
Well, 100%.
This is what they call it. This is fluff. All of this going back and forth to Switzerland and all of that.
Theatrics.
I said fluff.
Same difference.
Yeah, same difference.
It's all fluff. Yeah, it's all fluff.
Right. You know, so it's all to appease. You know what I mean? If we come and we talk. So this time, this is the reason why they brought J.D. Vance this time, because Jared Kushner and Witkoff, they was already tired of them. They said that some weeks ago. They said they don't even trust their word. So that's why Trump had to send J.D. Vance this time. He had to send the vice president. That's the only reason why J.D. Vance is there today. You know what I mean?
And listen, we've seen all this political theatrics in the Gaza Strip. We've seen all the political theatrics and we got a ceasefire. We got a ceasefire. We got a ceasefire. We got a ceasefire. Now there's no Gaza.
Right.
Now the next mission is what? Iran and Lebanon. Seem to be other neighboring countries.
Yep.
This don't get fooled by the propaganda. The white man is the devil.
That's right.
This is a deceptive nature through mass media.
Right.
Propaganda. In other words, propaganda. You know what I'm saying? My thumb brings it out all the time. It's a reoccurring hamster wheel here. They're going to reopen the strait is closed. They're going to reopen the strait is closed. Oh, we control the strait. Oh, we control the what's going in and going out.
Right.
Oh, we got to go in there and we got to do the mine sweep. Every week it's the same hamster wheel. And guess what? Bombs are still being dropped.
Yep.
Stocks going up and down, manipulated through the media. Trump, all his rich friends gaining a dollar. He's gaining money from it. And what's not stopping is the war.
Right.
Come on, man. What we gonna get? What news we gonna get tomorrow? Another missile strike.
Another missile strike. You know, and they said they gonna give them 24 to 48 hours to see what happened because they know the U.S. You understand what I'm saying? And matter of fact, Iran said they ready for war. They already know. They know the U.S. is pulling their leg. You know, they dangling. They think they dangling a carrot, but Iran is ready for war, and that's what we need them to be ready for. We need them to be ready for war. We need to see some bombs dropping. We don't need to see nobody trying to be friends. You understand? We want to see them unalive each other. Say, listen, when one empire goes, another rises. You understand? And this is it right here. This is our last captivity. This is where we gotta prepare ourselves at, you know. This is where we gotta stand up and have ourselves prepared, you know. And Commanding General Yohanna, since I've been in this troop, he had been preparing us, you know. It wasn't a hard pill to swallow, but it was a hard thing to understand when I first came into the troop. You know what I mean? But I knew I was hearing something that was real. You know what I mean? And now that when everything gets removed, all of that, what do you say? For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. A lot of times we keep going to our oppressor for help because that rust hasn't shown through. That real personality of the oppressor hasn't shown through because we don't have real understanding. Once you get real understanding, you start seeing the beast for what the beast is. You understand? You stop getting ran up on and jumped on, you know, unawarely. You understand what I'm saying? Where we can confront the beast and we can stand up, you understand, and armored up in our righteousness. You understand? To really confront the beast the way the beast is supposed to be confronted. And the way we confront that beast is go out here and wake our brothers and sisters up. You understand? To bring them on the side of righteousness. But anyway, go ahead, sir. I you.
We over here chanting USA,
Right,
for the World Cup. The USA won one game.
right.
Now you ready to wave the American flag.
Right.
You put the flag on your car. You got the USA jersey. You ain't never watched football a day. Day in life, you up there with the Germans and the Algerians or whoever other countries is over here.
Yeah.
Talking about, you know, you in there chanting and watching the football game,
Yep.
or the soccer game or what have you. You distracted, man.
Yep.
You distracted by, you know, the trinkets.
Hey, listen, Salaki, if I may, this was the very same tactic that they said the Romans used. You understand? The Romans would have the games when things weren't going right. They would have the games. They would have the gladiators, you know, doing all kinds of stuff just to take the minds of the people and distract them. You understand? Until things got straight. And this is what happens to us today. They use those same tactics. Listen, the things that we fought back in 70 AD and the 13 BC and all of those times way back, we still falling for the same tactics. You understand? We still falling for the same tactics. You understand? And if you really look at it, everything that America's doing to all of these countries, they did to us first. You understand? We just a petri dish. They practice right here, and then they play it right there. You understand? All of those black codes. You look, y'all can't do this, you can't do that, and then y'all got to give us this. We do that, it work on us. Let's use it on them. Think about this. How do you get a country like South Korea to drop their arms and believe in you? You understand what I'm saying? How do you get a country as strong as Japan was to drop their arms and believe in you? All of those tactics that they use on those countries, they used on us first. Think about the people that sit there and tell you every year, you got to get out and vote. If you want to see change, you got to get out and vote. You understand what I'm saying? How many times have we heard, well, you can't talk if you ain't vote? I mean, how many times we heard that from an old lady? You understand what I'm saying?
Remember when P. Diddy was out there talking about vote or die?
Vote or die.
Look at him.
Look at him now. You understand? What did his vote get him? You understand? Now, I'm going to set him aside because I still think he an agent. You understand what I'm saying? But everything that's happening to these countries, because you look at it, right? Think about this. Think about Iraq and Saddam Hussein, right? America gave Saddam Hussein chemical weapons to use on Iran back in the 90s. They turned around, they got finished with Saddam Hussein and unalived him. You understand what I'm saying? We do the same thing. America uses our black prominent people, use them till they capture us, and then they ball them up and throw them away. I mean, think about it, right? Look at Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Look at all of those leaders right now. Like a Jesse Jackson just passed away. Look at Al Sharpton. Who are they speaking for? They speaking for America. When somebody tell you, you know, what was the saying that he used to use, Jesse Jackson? I am somebody. I am somebody. You understand? Think about it. What does it mean?
Nothing.
Everybody
somebody.
You know you somebody.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But the way he chanted it, it pulled people into that spirit. Now he got you into that spirit. Now he's telling you, look, we can't go out there. We can't do that. We just got to keep going out there and vote. You got to vote. You got to stand up. You got to go to your leaders. You got to do this. You got to talk to your pastor. All of the wrong people. What it says our leadership language, right? They broken, they destroyed. And the very people that we look forward to, that we look up to help us, are the very people that's destroying us. The very people that has that spirit of America that's destroying us.
They'll lead us to destruction.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna get this last article for time's sake.
Damn, we could have went on forever on that.
Could have.
Yeah, forever on that.
Key outcomes of Iran-U.S. talks. And are we already on that article?
I just read that.
Let me get the other one.
I think we down at the they actually down at the agreement comes as a major question. You want me to finish reading?
Yeah, go ahead while I get this other one.
Okay, it says the agreement comes as major questions remain unresolved, including whether Iran will be permitted to continue enriching uranium, the fate of its stockpile of highly enriched uranium, the scope of international inspections, and the timeline for sanctions relief. And this is the thing, right? They said if them sanctions not relieved, then the Straits of Hormuz gonna close again. You understand? America took $300 billion from the Iranians, just as it took $200 billion from Russia, right? The whole creation, when the United States created the United Nations after World War II, because all of the countries were destroyed in the way that they were, the only strong currency was left was the United States, was the dollar. She used it as the petrodollar, so the dollar backed everything. So in order for you to get anything and to purchase anything, internationally, it had to be traded in the US dollar. That's when America gets the lock on you, right? Because now you got to use theirs. And not only that, you're using European banks in London, America, and it was another country. It was another country in a triad, right? And your money, your currency got to go through them. So now, if you do something I don't like, I can freeze your account and all of the money and the assets that you got locked up in that what's the name? That was the lock that America wanted to get after World War I, but they messed up because they gave too many other countries power. So they left the League of Nations, which they started after World War I. After World War II, they said we got another opportunity to do it over again, and started the United Nations. And America had what's that? What is the word? Soul power. I'm just gonna say soul power. We understand that, but they had soul power where they could say this is what's going to happen, and nobody could veto it. But somebody else could say something and they could veto. They got veto power over everybody else.
I'll give you an example. Cuba, for several decades, all the nations said end embargo. All of them.
Yep.
Except two. Israel and America. We're talking about for decades now.
Yep.
And the embargo and all of that. They're so wicked, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of history behind that embargo too. Remember the Scarface? Remember Scarface? That part where they showed them in Cuba and they was trying to get out because of the Cuban Revolution. That was part of that too. You know, they had kicked out the so-called Jewish man out of Cuba at that time. Cuban man, the so-called Jewish man, was the one running all the drugs and all of the other stuff through there. So that part of Scarface that you saw, that was real. That was real. Yeah.
Let me get one I just sent you.
Come on,
We're gonna drop this, but you're gonna see a whole bunch of more press conferences with Trump, Vance, and other political leaders as far as ceasefires, agreements that ultimately lead to nowhere. It's just political theatrics, and the war continues. And things are going to get worse. Let's go ahead. Let's get this.
Vance warning to Israel signals a new phase in U.S.-Israeli relationship.
New phase. Now, it was an amazing thing to see Trump come out and really be butting heads with Benjamin Netanyahu like that. Nobody would have thought. And now Vance is back in his boss. He like, this XYZ got to happen. Now he butting heads against.
We got water.
We got waters, cold waters back there.
I don't need a cold one. It could be warm.
Or any water. I was like, any water back there?
I only need one. You want one, Cat?
I'm too.
I just need one.
But
My medicine.
Vance is backing him.
What's going on, bro?
It's international turmoil.
Wow.
You understand? Yeah, that's trash. Let's get this here Vance story. This is gonna be our last story.
Come on.
I ain't gonna go too far into the World Cup.
Say Vance warning Israel signal a new phase in U.S.-Israeli relations. There won't be a rupture, but there won't be business as usual either. United States Vice President J.D. Vance's warning to Israel last week may prove one of the most consequential public statements ever delivered by a senior U.S. official about the U.S.-Israeli relationship. Wait a minute, he's saying about the U.S. Israel relationship,
Mhm.
not because it revealed a disagreement such tensions have surfaced before, but because it challenged a core assumption underpinning the alliance for decades. That Israel can openly oppose a major U.S. diplomatic initiative and still expect Washington to adjust its course. Meaning, our thoughts in our mind is that no matter what Israel do, America gonna follow their lead. So what they saying is, we trying to show you that that type of thinking is wrong and it's not gonna be no more. You understand? That's in layman's term, right? We call that layman's term. I'm saying it so y'all can understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, it say if I was in the cabinet of the Israeli government, I might not be attacking the only powerful ally that I have anywhere left in the entire world, Vance said, while defending President Donald Trump's newly signed memorandum with Iran. And they have an issue with that. A lot of public officials got an issue with the memorandum because America is adhering to all of the points that Iran said they want, just like they said they want reparations for the bombing of the building and all of the destruction that Israel and America caused. They want their $300 billion released that America stole from them. You understand?
Some politicians will call this a surrender.
Yeah, which it is.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm not saying
It's a
it,
surrender.
but people calling it a surrender, waving the white flag. Because you got to understand this, Timothy. They already had a nuclear deal on the table under Obama.
Right.
They trashed that deal.
Yeah.
And they was up in arms about they unfreeze $1 billion. Obama paid them. Now you went in there, you tried to be a bully. You tried to bomb him into submission.
Right.
He was like, "No, we're gonna hold this front. We're gonna hold this line." Now your rich friends is in, a tizzy here, and you got to make a move. So he's gonna drop 300 bill. Are they unfreezing 300 bill, or are they paying 300 bill? I'm not sure.
Unfreezing 300 billion.
But nonetheless, 300 is a lot more than 1.9 or whatever it was. This is a complete surrender, and to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Have you seen those boats in the Strait of Hormuz? Have you seen how many boats are out there? Imagine getting $2 million a boat. They said if you don't open the straits of, if you don't give us our points right here, we just gonna attack every boat that come through that don't belong to us or our allies. We're gonna charge them $2 million to come through. We get our 300 billion back like that. No matter how long it takes, that's a lot of dough a pop. You understand what I'm saying?
And it's a necessity because you talking about energy,
right?
No, China don't get that energy.
Right.
It's going. I mean, the global economy is looking at a catastrophe right now.
Well, they actually said that it's going to be a catastrophe anyway.
Anyway,
you understand what I'm saying?
Up.
It's no catching up. Now, what we actually seeing of the gas prices coming down, America has what they call it.
It's a combo of reserves.
The reserves. So what we actually seeing that they not telling nobody is they going into the reserves and pushing the reserves in. That's what's dropping the gas prices for right now. But they said after one more month or 2 more months, it's a wrap.
It's up.
It's a wrap. So all we got to do is, what's this? This is June. We at the end of June, July, the end of August. We will see where we be at then. You understand? And those gas prices, we can see those gas prices at $5 a gallon. We already saw them at $4.79 to almost $5. So once those reserves run out, you're gonna start seeing that $5.50 and almost $6. Remember, in California, it was already at $7, almost $8 a gallon. You understand? We seen the I believe it was the regular, but we saw $4.50 and was crying. You know what I mean?
Some people still paying $450,
Yeah.
depending on what type of fuel your vehicle takes. And look,
I'm gonna be working for gas.
right. And look, this is the thing, right? Iran is literally touching America. That's what is not being
Broadcast.
broadcast per se.
Yeah.
Iran got their hand in each market across the face of the earth, whether it be America or anybody in the Americas on this side, China, Japan, Korea, or what have you. That straight is a driving force, internationally or what have you.
It's a lot.
And Donald Trump, rich friends, is being affected, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Salaki, if I may, we got to look at it like this too. Iran, Russia, and China all border. They said Iran can actually close their borders and is self-sufficient. Everything that they need, they have, just like Russia. You understand? If you got those three sitting right there with each other, covering borders, you understand? Those three alone are self-sufficient. They don't need the rest of the outside world. So America really sticking herself. You understand what I'm saying? Just because of pride. And this is what happens. What they say, pride comes before the fall or destruction. Pride comes before destruction. What we watching a prideful country destroy itself. You understand? That's what we watching right now. So, I mean, right now, it's going to be a time in history where we're going to be like, yo, where was you at when the gas prices went up to $8 at? You know what I mean? So now imagine if the gas prices get to $8 here, can you imagine what they're going to be in California? They always been high in California, over on the West Coast. Can you imagine? Listen, we think we go crazy or we act stupid when certain things happen. Can you imagine an oppressor that's not used to being poor and broke? You know what they they jump off of buildings when the stocks go the wrong way. Can you imagine what's going to be happening? This is when you really going to see
fallout,
the real fallout, and the real when they start themselves, when they start unaliving themselves. You think about when we saw in the
storm the Capitol.
The storm the Capitol. What was remember the shooter that was in the MGM building that hit the country music festival and all of that? Imagine that happening. Imagine that happening 20 times worse than that. Yeah. Imagine it happening in 5, 6, 7 different places at the same time. You understand? You think 9/11 was bad, yo. You think we had our hearts was pounding like that when that happened. You understand what I'm saying? Boy, this is the reason why the Bible says gather yourself together. You understand? Because at the end of the day, the Most High knows that we are all we got. That's a hashtag, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And we got to start looking at each other different. We look at each other as though we're enemies. And that's what oppression does. Oppression makes the people who are oppressed look at other oppressed people like we are enemies when we're not enemies. We are family. And just like we said before, we are all we got. In these times, these troubled times right now are the times that we got to stand up and we got to stand strong with each other and stop standing against each other. You understand?
And in that, we got to recognize the white man's the devil.
The devil that the Bible speaks of.
Don't be deceived by the propaganda.
Right.
The war is going to continue to go. The turmoil is going to continue to climb. And in the meantime, like when Thomas bring it out, we got to gather together. And we got to gather together in righteousness.
Right.
You understand? We'll teach you how to be righteous here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Let's get a little bit more in this article here. And then I got one more article that ties off of this. And then we'll continue, and then we'll close. All right.
Come, sir. It says the significance lies in what it implied. Vance was publicly acknowledging what U.S. officials have long preferred to leave unsaid. Israel's international standing has deteriorated. Its diplomatic isolation has deepened, and its dependence on the U.S. has become increasingly pronounced. More importantly, he signaled that the Trump administration is no longer willing to treat Israeli objections as a veto over U.S. policy, a potentially historic shift. That's the first time ever heard. I never heard. I've listened to America's speakings of with Israel, and I've never heard them say anything like this. Now, this is propaganda. This is some heavy propaganda right here. You understand? But if America is standing on business, this gonna be a big rift, and I'm explaining to you why. The Israelis bombed the USS. What was the ship that they bombed some years back? One of the U.S. ships they bombed some years back. I believe it unalived 166 sailors. You understand? And then the Israelis turned around and said, "Oh, it was a mistake. We didn't know. We thought it was a." How can you mistaken a U.S. aircraft marked? I mean, a U.S. warship marked. You understand? It's no, but the United States took that. You understand what I'm saying? The Israelis are constantly spying on the U.S. and sending U.S. information to other countries.
They have been for decades.
They have been doing that for decades.
And I also want to get they tried to pass this. I think it's already been passed.
I ain't jumped too far, did I?
No, I think it's already been passed. They tried to pass this thing where our intelligence agencies, the U.S. intelligence agencies, are merged with the Israeli intelligence. Did you see about that?
Yeah.
Did that get passed?
But they've been trying to do that for a long time, but America would be silly to do that. And I'm explaining to you why, because America already knows that the Israelis are already spying on them.
Well, let's not get too far.
Okay, my bad.
We'll go into a whole nother rabbit hole.
Okay.
Let's finish this up, but we can get into that though. Let's finish this up because I got another article that ties to this. That's important. But also recognize and understand this: the Israeli rules of engagement are different than so-called American standards as far as military procedures are concerned. And leveling buildings, I'm not saying the U.S. don't do it also, but these are some ruthless bastards, man. So much so Donald Trump called them out on national TV.
Right.
All right, so let's get a little bit more of this article, and then I got one more that ties in this up just a little bit more, but go ahead.
The immediate dispute centers on Trump's agreement with Iran, which launched a 60-day negotiation process aimed at transforming a fragile ceasefire into a border regional peace framework. The memorandum envisions sanctions relief, economic rehabilitation, freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, and restrictions on Iran's nuclear ambition. The administration argues that diplomacy offers a better path to regional stability than other cycles of confrontation.
You
want me to keep going?
This next paragraph is on it.
Right.
More. So let's get these last two ones. And I got one more article I want to tell you.
Time will come, sir.
Benjamin Netanyahu statements on 60 Minutes.
For Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, however, the agreement undermines a strategy he has pursued for years. Few foreign leaders have invested more effort than he did in convincing Washington that Iran should remain isolated, weakened, and constrained through sustained economic and military pressure.
And it says he's been on this for years. But he already had this in mind before October the 7th.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come on.
30 years. Over 30
decades
years now. Yeah.
One more paragraph.
It says a diplomatic opening for Tehran inevitably challenged the approach. Israeli officials have expressed deep concern about the agreement. Netanyahu-aligned media have attacked Trump advisor Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, while Israeli allies in Congress and conservative U.S. media have begun mobilizing opposition to negotiations with Iran. The goal appear. You want me to go read on?
Oh, you can stop there.
Okay.
Drew Muhammad said, and he was absolutely right about this, right? He said, if Trump was truly America first, he would absolutely bomb the hell out of Israelis.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're in total opposition. Like, come on, like they trying to have this peace talk, get the money back from on, and you over here trying to bomb Lebanon.
Yep.
While I'm in the meeting in Switzerland. Donald Trump talking about XYZ about Lebanon. Benjamin Netanyahu knocking down an apartment building. It's messy, yeah. Let's get this here. I don't think I shared this to you.
Ending aid to Israel. Oh yeah, that's new.
Yeah. And I'm showing this here to give you the continual it's obvious that they are at odds with each other. They're supposed to be allies. America, Israel. They're trying to deal with them. They're trying to be one through the Congress, right?
Right. Yep.
Now we got this. This is what he said in 60 minutes. I'm going to send this to you real quick on my thumb. Give me 1 second.
He got 52 standing ovations at a speaking he had at the beginning of the year. 52. How do you stand an ovation? You do 2 or 3. You get 52. That goes to show you how many people have been paid off by the so-called Israeli. Ending aid to Israel.
Yeah, add this to the stage. Yeah. You got it.
This month, the United States and Israel formally launched talks to end the largest military aid package in American history. The $38 billion memorandum of understanding will almost certainly not be renewed when it expires in 2028, after decades in which American aid to Israel was considered untouchable. It's clear that the big change is afoot. At first glance, this looks like a shift away from taxpayer-funded American aid in light of the action of the Netanyahu government and the subsequent shrinking American public support for Israel. Over the past 4 years, the number of Americans who have an unfavorable view of Israel jumped from 42 to 60%.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody recognizing that these white folk is out of their goddamn mind.
Yeah.
And don't think for 1 second that they say the Jewish man ain't white. What the hell is you talking about?
Right.
They one of the top whites.
Right.
That's all it is.
That number is particularly pronounced among younger Americans and on the left, although it has grown among every demographic. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu himself fed the narrative that aid to Israel is going away, telling 60 Minutes. I think that it's time that we weaned ourselves from the remaining military support.
I'm going to have to stop there because can you get the rest of the article on your phone?
Yeah, okay.
Because they ain't going to let me on air.
Okay.
You can get a little bit more, though.
Don't be fooled. This is a 3-card Monty. Yeah, all right. Netanyahu is giving up on U.S. funding. He's just moving the cards to make the money harder to follow. Is that what's happening?
Possibly, Madame, but I can tell you, I can rest assured you this. The relations between the Israelis and the U.S. is diminishing greatly.
Right.
It's obvious that Benjamin and the powers that be in Israel is publicly in opposition to what particular American standards.
Right.
America is trying to end it because they need the money and the oil, and the world needs the money and the oil.
Right.
It's either that or it's just a bunch of political theatrics.
Yeah, but if you think about it too, right? The Israelis can't survive without U.S. funding. Explain
100%.
because there's nothing over in Israel that can be manufactured without U.S. funding. If you stop U.S. funding, all of those weapons that they build over there, because they do nothing over there, trying to go into those other countries and take over those other countries. They don't have anything that can sustain them over there. The whole purpose of Israel being over there is so that Israel and the United States could control the Middle East. If the United States moves away, Israel has nothing. They fall apart immediately. That's a wrap. So I'd like to see how this goes.
100%. But I can rest assure you this: there's no de-escalating. We saw what happened in Gaza.
Right.
If anything, they're going to be ramping this up.
Well, they
saying nothing. Y'all talking about they're going. He said in that interview in 60 Minutes, they're going to start now, and within the 10 years, there's going to be a complete severance and a cutoff.
Right.
From American funding or whatever. We'll see how that goes, but what we're seeing in real time is, World War III and full drive.
And let's not get it mistaken. We talk about World War III because this is what we end World War III. A lot of people, when we talk about a world war, we expect to see bombs and everything and tanks and things flying all over the place, all over the world, right? This is the way wars start, just like it's happening right now.
Money.
Every war has a start.
Money, trade, food, famine.
Right. And just like we talked about when we saw that that war with Russia and Ukraine, when that started, the people in Ukraine was out shopping. They was out at amusement parks. They was doing everything the day before. And then all of a sudden, the next day, the bombs started dropping. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, what we sitting in history. And like I said before, we're gonna be sitting there just like everybody can remember where they was at when 9/11 happened, right? It's gonna be a time where when this really hit the fan, we're gonna be saying, yo, where was you at when that happened? Keep everything in mind. Remember everything that's happening. You know what I mean?
Don't think for 1 second it's going. And also, I got time. I got time to get right. I'm not ready. Listen, there's no time. There is no getting ready. The time is now.
Right.
You understand? It's time to gather yourself together and get right with the Lord. That's what we got to recognize and understand. But
that's definitely. That's why That's why we on this. That's why we on this One West News. That's right now.
We talking about the end. Well, this ain't a movie. We think in the church we read the Bible like it's a movie. Gabar. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this is real life here.
Yes.
We talking about thermonuclear war across the face of the earth. We're talking about war, famine, pestilence, desolence. We're talking about a horrible, horrible time. And you up there, Trenton, USA. We in the midst of a boycott, and you on the internet talking about I ain't boycott. Like what is? Wrap your head around what's really happening around us, locally, nationally, internationally,
right?
And how it pertains to us and our liberation. We taking it for granted this time we living in, when all the prophets wanted to see this time.
Right.
And we here, so let's take it. Oh, they are. True.
They are seeing these times.
That's a regeneration.
Right. Yeah.
No, sir. But and we're gonna close with that. Any closing remarks?
Sir.
Nothing. No closing remarks. Okay.
Listen, we didn't talk.
No sweat. But look, yeah, man. Come on, man. It's One West News Desk. Every Monday night, Lord allow, weather permit, we'll be here in the building, you dig. I'm your host, Cap Sapari, along with
Officer Mathum.
It's the One West News Desk, Israel School EVK, under Commander in Hana. With that, Shalom Israel.